doesn't mean you are going to write any code. There is no coding required. It's a language of diagrams. With the help of pictorial presentation, you're going to explain it to your technical team, the process, the current process of the client's business with the help of process flow diagrams, use case, activity diagrams. Your business analyst profile is a non-technical profile in an IT industry. Now, in our projects, we are having various phases. So if you're working during the pre-project stage, you will be considered as a strategical business analyst. If you're working during the post-project stage, then you will be considered as a functional business analyst. And if you're working during the maintenance and support, then you will be considered as a operations business analyst. Talking about the hierarchy of a BA in an organization, so it is going to start with entry-level business analyst, then mid-level business analyst, then business analyst, then senior business analyst, and then finally principal BA. Then finally your principal BA. Now, by this time we understood as a BA, you're going to bridge a communication gap between client and the technical team. Now, the second important thing that we are going to understand today is your role as a BA in a project. Your role as a BA in a project. Now, when we are giving any software solution to the client, that software solution has to go through with the software development lifecycle phases. So anybody interested is telling me what are the different phases do we have in the software development lifecycle?
It's a requirement gathering.
Okay.
Feasibility study.
Okay.
Design. Coding. Testing. Installation and maintenance.
Right, absolutely right. So we are going to now understand your role as a BA in the software development lifecycle. So it starts with the planning first, where we are going to gather the requirements. Then comes your analysis, then designing, then coding, testing, then implementation and maintenance. Now, step by step, we are going to understand your role in the software development lifecycle. And the very first step that you are going to play here is gathering of requirements. Now, for gathering requirements, firstly, you should be aware of who is a stakeholder, who are going to get impacted by your IT solution. So what you will be doing? Firstly, you will be conducting stakeholder analysis. And for identifying stakeholders in a project, there are two ways. One is ILS and the other one is RACI matrix. Right? ILS stands for identify, list, and summary, and RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Now, ILS technique is not giving us a complete information of the client's stakeholders. So we are not using ILS technique anymore. But yes, we are going to use RACI matrix in the project, and we are going to document this RACI matrix artifact in our business requirement document. Now, once we have identified the stakeholder, the next thing that we will be doing is conducting elicitation techniques. So here we are having total 10 techniques in market. So here we are having total 10 techniques in market, like document analysis, reverse engineering, focus group session, observation, interview, workshop, brainstorming session, joint application development session, survey, right? Now, with the help of these techniques, whatever requirements that you will be getting, it will be giving you a 3C advantage. So your requirements are going to be clear, complete, and consistent. Now, once you have gathered the requirements, sometimes your client will give you some repeated requirement, some redundant requirements, some requirements which are not lined up with the project case. Then what as a BA you will be doing? You have to sort the requirement. And for sorting of requirements, we don't have any technique. Okay, so that we will be doing to the best of our knowledge. Now, once the sorting is done, the next important step that we are going to follow in the gathering requirement is prioritization. Prioritization of requirements. And that we will be doing with the help of Moscow technique. And we will be documenting it in the functional requirement document. Okay. And we are also using this prioritization Moscow technique when our product owners, they are going to prioritize product backlog. Apart from this, we are having $100 test and top 10 requirements. Now, once we are done with the prioritization of requirements, next we are going to do is validating requirements. And for validation of requirements, we are going to use FORBS technique, SMART technique, and INVEST technique. So all these techniques which I have mentioned on the screen, all these techniques we will be discussing in detail in our training session with the help of an examples. And you will be practicing on these techniques based on the case study which I am going to give, and you're going to prepare BRD and FRD document. Now, once we have gathered the requirement with the help of these techniques, okay, now how we are going to share it with the technical team. So to share the requirements with the technical team, the next step that we are going to follow is the documentation of the requirements. Now, there are a couple of documents that you will be preparing, like SWOT report, that is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, or gap report, or you will be preparing understanding document, business requirement document, functional requirement document, software requirement specification, RTM, requirement traceability matrix, test cases, user story creation, and your change request document. Now, being part of this documentation, as I told you in the previous slide, that your technical team understands the technical language, and that technical language is the pictorial presentation of the client's requirement with the help of diagrammatic representation. So in the next step, we are going to do the modeling of requirement. Modeling of requirements. So we are going to prepare BPMN diagrams, that is business process modeling and notation. And in this, we are having multiple diagram, but as a BA, we are going to focus on process flow diagram and cross-functional diagram. Right? Apart from that, we are having UML diagram, Unified Modeling Language. Here, we are going to prepare use case diagram, activity diagram, and sequence diagram. Okay. Apart from this, we are also going to prepare screen mockups. Wireframing, and prototyping. Now, these process flow and cross-functional diagrams we are going to keep in BRD document. We are learning use case and activity diagrams because we will be keeping it in FRD. Sequence diagram is going to be part of SRS document, and wireframes we will be keeping it in FRD. Right? Apart from that, the tools that we will be using, okay, so we will be using generally your Visio tool, or draw.io. So this is an open source tool. So I have already prepared a use case diagram. I was explaining it to one of my batch. So like this, you can easily simple drag and drop interface and easily accessible this draw.io is. And Visio tool you are having. Apart from that, for wireframing, we are going to use Balsamic, and for prototyping, Action RP Pro tool. Okay, let me show you all how this tool is going to be your Balsamic. So this is a Balsamic mockup tool where you are going to create static screens. So this is also a very simple tool, user-friendly, simple drag and drop interface. You can create your mobile application, you can create web application, desktop application that you want to keep. The another tool that we are having is Action RP Pro tool. So this is a prototyping tool where on every click, it is generally used for the presentation purpose. Okay. So I am just showing you one of the demo of one of the project. So how it works. So on every click, this is happening. right? So this is your prototyping tool. Now, as a BA, so you will be doing your gathering of requirements, documentation of requirements, and modeling of requirements during the planning and analysis phase of software development lifecycle. Now, as a BA, you are having a complete set of requirements with you, and you are ready to communicate these requirements to your technical team. So the next step that you will be following is to communicate the requirements. So you will be conducting some walkthrough meetings, some knowledge transfer sessions where you will be explaining your technical team that why this project has been initiated. What are the challenges the current as-is process of the client's business is having, and what expectation the client is having from this project. From here, your project will enter into the software development lifecycle phases of designing, coding, and testing. Now, as a BA, you are not a web designer, you are not a developer, you are not a tester who is going to do the non-functional testing. So what you will be doing during these phases of SDLC, software development life cycle. So whatever the requirements that you have elicited, gathered from the gathering stage, you will be tracking the progress of the development of those requirements with the help of RTM. That is requirement traceability matrix. And while your project is going through with all these phases, sometimes your client will come up with a change request. So as a BA, you are going to handle change request, and you're going to drive client for UAT, user acceptance testing. That is a final testing. So your role as a BA starts from gathering requirement till successfully driving client for UAT. Clear? Any questions from anyone? Before I'm going to move to the next slide.
Guys, I'm sorry, but this is like, if you ask questions, it's free. So you can seriously ask questions. So we don't charge for the asking questions as well. Okay, I think we can go ahead, Silpa. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we are going to talk about the prime responsibilities of a BA. Okay, the first and the foremost, as we know by this time, is client interaction. So as a BA, lots and lots of client interactions are involved. As a BA, you are going to meet the client, take the requirements, and communicate it to the technical team. If your technical team is facing any kind of problem or an issue, they are going to communicate it to you, and you're going to communicate it to the client. The second prime responsibility is taking ownership of requirements. Taking ownership of requirements. So requirement here means the need of the client. Just like you have joined this BA workshop session with some need. Some people wants to enhance their career. Some people wants to get a job as a BA. Some people wants to know how a BA works in an IT industry. Few of them are business analysts are working as a BA, but they don't know the set standards that need to be followed, right? So all these are the need, right? Now, requirements are basically the need of the client. So as a BA, when you're going to meet client, you have to take the ownership of understanding the need of the client. So till the time the client's need is not clear to you, you cannot give proper knowledge transfer to your technical team. And based off on whatever the KT you have given, your technical team is going to develop the particular application. The third prime responsibility is process reengineering, understanding different processes that are there in the client's business and then providing your IT solution. Let's take a simple example. Okay. You are a bank customer and you're going to transfer fund into my account. One way is you can directly walk into bank and transfer the fund, or you can use the net banking services and transfer the fund to my account, or you can use mobile banking services and transfer the fund into my account. Now, my question to all of you is that whatever the software application they are using in the bank, will it be same with the net banking and the mobile banking application?
No, I don't think so, Shilpa. No.
No, exactly. So, as a BA, before you are going to give any IT solution to the client, you should be having a complete understanding of the complete business process of the client's business and different applications that are running in the client's business, right? And then you will be giving your proposed IT solution, which is going to add value into the client's business, right? Good. Now, the next important topic that we will be discussing in today's session is the challenges. What are the typical challenges as a BA you are going to face? Anybody interested in answering? To make the session more interactive, anybody interested in answering what you understood from the past 3 slides? What do you think? What are the challenges a BA is going to face in a project?
Maybe the technical requirements and the resources we need.
Okay.
Coordination with the team members.
Absolutely right.
Interviewing the client or
Okay.
stakeholders.
Absolutely right. So, okay, very good. So, as all of you said, yeah, there can be n number of challenges that a business analyst is going to face in any project. I have listed down few. Okay. So, see, as a BA, you are going to take requirements and you are going to document those requirements because you're going to share these BRD, FRD, or SRS documents with your technical team. But before you are going to share these documents, you need to take sign off, you need to take approvals from the client as well as from your project manager, and taking those approvals is one of the biggest challenge as a BA you are going to face. Coming of change request in the middle of the project, which is going to increase the cost and the timelines of the project, right? Coordination, as one of you said, coordination between developers and testers, your team members, conducting meetings with stakeholders, conducting meetings with your technical teams, bringing them on a common platform is one of the biggest challenge as a BA you are going to face. Driving client for final testing. You are ready, your team is ready, but the client is not giving you the time for the final testing, right? That is why your project is put on hold. People management, coordinating different people, different teams is one of the biggest challenge as a BA you are going to face in any project. Next is do's and don'ts of a BA in a project. So never say no to client. Let's suppose if you are working in a waterfall model and your client is coming up with the changes, you cannot say your client that we cannot handle your changes because we are working in a waterfall model. We cannot handle changes. You have to accept it. You have to prepare a separate budget for it, and you have to communicate it to the client. Next is never imagine anything in terms of GUI, graphical user interface. So we are not the web designers who are going to design the application to see the look and feel of the application. The way I showed you the prototype, in the way we are going to just tell client what are the features that are going to be there in the particular application. Next is there is no word called as by default. So when you're taking any requirements from the client, you are not going to, what we can say, assume anything. Okay, it is better you should consult subject matter expert, clarify your doubts with respect to the document, with respect to the requirement, and then document it. Clear? Good. Now, next important topic that we will be discussing in today's session is reasons behind project failure. Anyone who is interested in answering? What are the different reasons you feel that there is going to be?
Miscommunication of requirements.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So miscommunication of requirements, we can say improper requirement gathering done by you as a PA. You have not well understood the client's requirements, or sometimes your clients, sometimes they are also not sure about their need, what they exactly looking up for. Definitely, yes. Anybody else interested?
Not meeting the client, in terms of deadlines.
Okay. Okay, right, exactly. Okay. So, improper requirement gathering done by you as a BA. You have not well understood the client's requirement, okay, and you documented it, and you're not able to give proper KT, right? Coming of continuous changes in the middle of the project. Okay, you are going through with the testing phase, and suddenly client has come up with some additional changes, because of which it is going to increase the cost of the project, the timelines of the project, which can be a reason for a project failure. Lack of your stakeholder involvement, your client involvement. You have conducted a workshop session in that you invited some 6 stakeholders, out of which 4 are actively participating in giving the requirement, and rest are just sitting idle or neutral. Okay, and now they are coming up with the change request. So lack of user involvement, lack of executive support, your team support. You're not getting a proper team support. So your developers, they have given some effort estimation, but they are not developing the software in those effort estimations. Unrealistic client expectation. When you are conducting meeting with your client, okay, when you are reviewing your software with the client is not happy with the software that your team has developed. Unrealistic client expectation. Improper planning. So in a project, who is going to do the project planning? Anyone interested in answering? In a project, who is going to do the project planning?
Maybe a scrum master or project manager.
Project manager.
Project manager, absolutely right. Absolutely. So improper planning done by the project managers in terms of in which methodology we are going to take the project, how many resources we require, software, and all the financial and non-financial decision making. If it is not properly done, definitely there is going to be the project failure is going to be there. Clear? Now,
Yep.
do you have any idea how many types of IT companies do we have in the market? Anyone?
Every company which is working on technology should be IT company.
It's like service-based or product-based companies.
Absolutely right. So we are having, there are 2 broad categories, as both of you said. We are having product development IT companies and your application development or service-based IT companies or service-based IT companies, right? Now, your product development IT companies are Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, SAP, and CRM. These IT companies come up with their own concept of these companies will come up with their own concept of product. They will invest their time and money in the development of the product. They are going to customize their product as per the client's requirement, and they are going to install it at the client's place. So these IT companies are going to be the sole owner of the developed product. These IT companies are going to be the sole owner of the developed product. Now, as a BA, if you're working with the product development IT company, you need to understand the product feature. You need to understand the domain of the product. You need to understand the client's requirement, and you're going to give the customization to your product, and then you're going to install it at the client's place, right? Let's take a simple example. I'm having a business of manufacturing ATM machines. for Indian banks. Okay, and my ATM machine understands INR. My ATM machine understands the money tray, understands rupee note. Now, the quality of the software, the quality of the ATM machines are so good that I'm getting orders from US also. Now, the same ATM machine I cannot install for in the US bank. So what I need to do, I need to customize my product based on the client's requirement. I need to change the INR into dollars. I need to change my money tray into so that it is going to understand dollars, right? So this is how your product development IT company works, how they are going to customize their product and they are going to give it to your concerned client, and they are going to give it to the concerned client. Clear? Now, generally, your product development IT companies are working on subsystems. Your product development IT companies are working on subsystems, which we are going to change at any point of time. We are going to customize at any point of time. Now, next, we are having service-based IT companies. So where we are having here your Infosys, TCS, Wipro. Here, your client will come up with their need and they will share their need with the IT company. And the IT company will develop the software, develop the IT application based on their need. And here, the concept has been shared by the client. So your client is going to be the sole owner of the developed software, right? Now, as a BA, if you're working with any application development IT company, you need to understand the client's industry and the client's requirement Clear?
Yes.
Good. Any questions? Okay. Now, few more things we will be discussing with respect to BA. And before that, do you have any questions so that you can ask? Anybody interested? Any questions so far?
No questions so far.
Thank you so much. Now we are going to talk about the journal information that you should be having. Okay. So the BA portion in a project. Okay. If your project, okay, is a 1-year project, so your role as a BA is going to be of 2 months. That is planning and analysis. Rest of the 10 months, you are going to track the requirement with the help of RTM. You are going to handle change requests and you are going to drive client for UAT, user acceptance testing. Now, the team size. If you are having 12 to 13 members, then 2 BAs are going to be there. And if you are having 24 to 25 members, then 4 BAs are going to be there. So total team size of BAs are going to be in a team is going to be 12 to 16%. So this is a very common interview question that you will be getting is how many BAs are there in your current project? Okay. And in the previous slide, we discussed about challenges a BA is going to face. So from there also, you will be getting an interview question that as a business analyst, what are the challenges that you have faced in your last project, right? Next important is the size of a project. So size of a project depends upon the man hours, the 8 hours that you are going to spend. So your small project is going to be up to 500 man hours, whereas medium project is 500 to 1000 man hours, and your large project is above 1000 man hours. Next important is the types of a project. So in a project, we are having fixed bid project and billing projects. Okay, so your fixed bid project is where the budget and time of the project will be fixed. It is used with short-term projects, small projects. In fixed bid project, we are not going to handle any changes. But as a BA, we cannot say no to client. So we are going to accept the changes. We are going to prepare a separate bill for it, and we are going to communicate it to the concerned client. Or we can take all those new changes as a customization and we can give it with a version change. Now, in a billable project, in a billing project where your resources have to fill their timesheets on hourly basis and they have to submit these timesheets to the project manager. Your project manager will compile these timesheets and will give it to the client. Now, here in the billable project, you can handle change request at any point of time because your resources have to share. I mean, they are going to fill their timesheets on hourly basis and they can include whatever the time they have spent on the change request. They can easily fill in the timesheets and they can share it with the project manager. Clear? Now, these are the essential skills that we will be covering in our training program. Okay, so we will be talking about enterprise analysis techniques here. We will be focusing on SWOT analysis, gap analysis, uh, your feasibility study, root cause analysis. In that 5 times why we will be covering your fishbone diagrams and tabular method. Apart from that, we will be understanding the business case document. So we will be doing this enterprise analysis during the pre-project phase of the project. And we will be talking about BA competencies, the 3W rules of business communication. We will be talking about conflict management here, the Thomas Kilmann technique of conflict management also we will be covering. And in BA directives, we will be talking about how a project gets initiated. We will be talking about risk analysis and management, Gantt charts we will be covering. We will be talking about your different servers that we are having, all those things. In SDLC methodologies, we will be talking about your waterfall model, Scrum model, V model, RUP, and spiral model. Okay. In UML diagrams, we will be working on use case, activity, and your MVC architecture, model view controller architecture for preparing sequence diagram. In requirement engineering, we will be focusing on your stakeholder analysis techniques, elicitation techniques, prioritization techniques, validating of techniques, and we will be covering here how you're going to handle a change request, frequently changing requirements in a project, and how you're going to manage the business requirement. So business requirement management is going to be studied here. Then in functional skill domain, we are going to work on BPMN, business process modeling and notation. In tools and documents, okay, in tools, as I already showed you, we are going to work on Visio tool or we can use draw.io. We will be working on Balsamiq. We will be working on Axure. Apart from these three, we will be working on Jira tool for creating user stories. Okay. And apart from that, we are going to work on a complementary session, Tableau, which is a business intelligence tool. That is a complementary session that we will be giving along with this PA training. And in documents, I will be giving you a case study. For that case study, you are going to prepare SWOT report, gap report. You will be preparing understanding BRD and FRD. And we will be learning, apart from these 5 documents, we are also going to learn during the session how to create RTM test cases and user stories and change request document. So I will be helping you with your resume preparation. Some 200 plus interview questions will be given to you. Some situation handlings will be there. A BA role play will be there. So you will be acting as a BA and I will be acting as a client, and I'm going to see your business communication skills and how you're going to prepare a set of questions with respect to the software that is going to be developed. Okay, so that kind of role play is going to be there, and a complimentary session on basic of testing will be there. Clear? Any questions, any doubts you are having from the training program?
Looks like no one has a question, but yeah, it's good. Anyone? If you got any questions, please do ask now.
If you're having any questions, please ask.
Hi Shilpa, I don't have anything for the regarding the training part, but it's like general things. So as a BA, even though if it's any software methodology that we use like Agile or Waterfall or V model, so do BAs in different methodologies will have the same roles and responsibilities?
Definitely. Same roles and response. See, as a BA, if you're working in a waterfall model, that phase by phase you will be doing. And the same thing as a BA in Agile Scrum, you will be working as a product owner, and where everything is going to happen cross-functionally. But all phases are going to be there also. Okay. The only thing is in waterfall model, you're following phase by phase and then you're moving to the next phase. In Agile Scrum, everything is going to happen cross-functionally. Here, as a BA, you will be more involved in gathering and your planning and analysis. As a product owner, you will be taking requirements from them, and instead of preparing big documents, you will be preparing minimal documents in the form of user stories and acceptance criteria. Any questions? Hello, is my voice is audible?
Yeah, Shilpa.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, anyone else? Ajay, Akshita, Anup, anyone? Do you have any questions?
So we can use the same tools and techniques across different methodologies, software and SDLC methodologies as well.
Yes. See, in Agile Scrum, generally it depends upon the nature of the project that you need to work on these prototypes or not. Okay, because after every week you are giving a working software to the client, a running working software, and that working software itself, your running code itself is a documentation for the client. Now, it depends upon the requirement of the project. In some project, you need to create prototypes also, and the tools and techniques are going to be same.
Thanks, Shilpa.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, guys? Ajay, anyone else? If you have any questions, please do ask now. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Shilpa.
Hi. Yes, tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. How many months it's take to complete the BA training section exactly?
I might answer that. So we are planning it. I'm not sure how many classes. We will discuss with Shilpa based on how many classes. It might be 20 or 30 days, and we will come up with the dates and timings as well. So that, like, basically we all are from Australia, all different states. So we need to fix the time with Shilpa as well because of on our availability timings, and then we'll give you the total details in a week time. So by next weekend or next Friday, we'll give you all the details.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shabira. Guys, anyone else? Any questions?